highest graphics, actually modified highest graphics, I think I changed the number of mirrors that work, because default it went for I think 3, and oops, wrong. If I get in the cab, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 2 more. I can't quite position my head so I can see 5 of them. But the problem is if it's only on 3 and you position your head so you can see 4, then some of the mirrors just turn opaque. You can't see what you're doing or what's happening. So I've upped it all the way to 7, but that's probably the only change I really make. Realistic, or more realistic beacons. So, no idea what that does, but hey, we're running realistic beacons, so yay. And I'm going to guess the rock picker's full. We'll turn him off for a minute. And run over to our big pile of rocks. Yay, rocks. I'm also running the silo only, which is about, I think that holds 900,000. The silo itself is cheaper than the smallest, integrated silo. But you have to buy the big auger to load it and the small auger to unload it. I figured we'd go with that, although I think it's probably more typically American than it is. My PC is a virtual machine. How do you mean it's a virtual machine? My PC is... it's a big giant tower. Okay, where do we get up to? I don't know. Look for rocks. Oh, now that's handy. I can actually see where I've been because it changes the texture to the same as cultivated. Is the engine still running? I forgot to turn the engine off on the Fiat. It's still there. Okay. I was complaining earlier that you couldn't tell where the rock picker had been because it left the same texture as cultivated. But it does, as we can see there, it does change the texture because we are making ploughed ground and turning it into cultivated ground with the rock picker, although, well, technically not cultivated ground. But I generally put a worker on the rock picker because I can't tell where it's been and where it hasn't been. No, my PC has a graphics card, but it's an old 1080, but still capable of running everything. No, I don't. I'm still sort of old style. Everything's running on a local network, but everything is a full tower system because they cool better. There's more room to put toys inside. And even my first PC, I started off my very first PC back in the mid-90s. I bought it as a MIDI tower. 486 processor, and adequate memory. And when I left England, it was a full tower with an AMD K7, I think 350, but I only paid for a 300, but they'd marked up the box wrong. With some serious memory and some good graphics. So, let me jump over to system information. We are running Microsoft 10, 64-bit. I've got an Intel i7 8700K running at 3.7 gigahertz, sorry, 6 cores. We have installed memory 16 gigabytes. Now I'm running out of stuff. Hardware, resources, no, components. CD-ROM, sound card. Display, refreshing system. NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1080 with some memory that's not leaping out at me. Adapter RAM. I don't know. Can't see everything there. Input modem, network, port, storage. Storage, we are running drives. Local fixed. C drive is, doesn't tell me the make. I got a 1 terabyte SSD and a 2 terabyte hard disk. Disks, drives. Yeah, I can't see the rest of it, but yeah, I mean, I'm running in maximum graphics. On a 1080. And that's no different. I was running 19 on full graphics as what your highest resolution. Screen size is 1960 by 1080, and so I'm running at that resolution as well. How's the ground look? I mean, the ground looks nice with their parallax occlusion thing. And it's getting dark. It's nearly 5 o'clock. I'm going to slow down game time. My goal here is I'm probably not going to stream for much longer because I'm getting hungry and Mrs. Osa probably needs some attention because, like I said, she needs a little bit more nursing because she's just recently out of hospital by a week today, I think. As far as Microsoft Flight Sim, I understand that is very heavy use. So I don't play flight sims anymore. I used to, but there's sorts of games that take a long time to do anything and get anywhere. And but I have in the past. But as I understand it, Microsoft Flight Sim is quite system intensive. So you kind of want to watch that. But Farm Sim, Train Sim World, this is what we have here is totally adequate to run them at very high settings. And it might be the processor that's also co-handling the number crunching as well. But Teenage Osa only has I think for the most part the core of her system is very similar. She doesn't have the SSD, she does have the 2 terabyte hard drive, and she has an AMD processor instead, and she doesn't have a graphics card. And when we loaded FarmSim 22 on hers, I think the graphics setup came in as medium, so adequate to play the game. The PC is probably not adequate to stream the game, and that's something I found with my PC that I had before I got this one. I could play FarmSim 17. It wasn't the highest graphic resolution. Lawfolds had a lot of decorations on the farm, piles of trash and old broken There was an old broken bus, there were augers, there were bale trailers with no wheels on them, old tractors with no wheels on them, all sorts of stuff lying around. The workshops had stuff you could pick up. So there was a workbench with chainsaws and power tools and everything else. All of that caused my old PC to really chug when you were looking at the farm driving towards it. So frequently we're approaching the farm down one of the roads and I've got the camera positioned like that. So, you know, graphics performance isn't degraded. As soon as I looked at the farm, it was sort of, oh, and you'd be sort of jerking along quite badly. So once I got this PC, it was sort of, yeah, I can play Farm Sim 17 on all faults with no problems. And I can stream at the same time. Whoa. Oh, you have dual 920s. Yeah, I don't know. But even then, I mean, how much is a 1080 these days? Considering I mean, we were talking to computer guy 2-3 weeks, probably about 3 weeks ago now, and he was saying, you know, part of the problem is, you know, a modern graphics card costs an arm and a leg if you can get one because of the chip shortages. Okay, that's fine. But then the price comes down because they get more common as manufacturing ramps up. But then the old cards, you know, they reach a point and then they start going back up in price for that card. And so if you want to find a 1080, it's entirely possible that it's more expensive than a newer card for some reason. And you know, you need to find the sweet spot. It's something, you know, my first PC, it was a 486 SX33, and I wanted 33 because that was the best motherboard clock rate that you could reliably get at the time. 25 meant, you know, you're reducing the motherboard rate to a 25. And I bought the SX33 because it was a cheap, good processor at the time. And if I wanted a DX266, it was 4 or 5 times more expensive. So I said, well, to heck with paying, you know, $200-300 more for a processor that's twice as fast and has the math coprocessor in it. However, 6 months later, I bought a DX266 and swapped out the processors, and the processor cost for the DX266 when I bought it 6 months after I bought the PC was exactly the same as the cost of a SX33 processor was when I bought it. So, you know, it cost me effectively twice as much as the SX33, but bonus, I got to sell the SX33 to someone who was upgrading their 386 and wanted a 486. So, yeah, it gave me a processor I could sell to someone. Okay, we have a good wedge of plowed stuff there. I can probably set the Fiat back on the job. Swing that there. Close. Back it up. We want the front wheel on the ploughed rut. There we go. Okay, let's go find the Fiat. Oh, I left you running, did I? Oh, off you go. Kind of missing a row there. Don't know if that's critical or whether the catchment area is just sufficient. Looks like it. I'm not going to worry. I'm really not going to worry. Jump back to here. And off we go again. The other thing I haven't checked is how the oil manufacturing plant is doing. We should check that out before we finish here. What is the time now? Okay, we're coming up to 1 o'clock. I'm thinking this is pretty much, I should probably start thinking about calling it for the day. I'm basically going to finish ploughing this field, finish picking the rocks off this field. We'll return the leased equipment and we'll get to planting tomorrow game day. I'm only doing 1 day per month seasons at this point because there just isn't enough work to keep us gainfully employed. I mean, for most of the day we've been running this one at ×3. That's kind of fine. And I am running over areas where I ran the culti plough, but frankly I can't see where it went and where it didn't, and I know there are strips of ground here that have not had the plough stake removed. Can't put this on a worker. However, what I can do is production facilities, canola. We got 7,300. We put 12,000 in, so we've had 5,000 litres run through the system. So we should have about, hang on, go back. We've got 49 in storage. We should have about 2 or 3 crates of canola oil sitting in the yard. I'm going to need a flatbed trailer to put it on. Now, options for that, we can either go, I think there's 2 dedicated bale trailers. There are 3 tippers which can be reconfigured. Let's run over here. Oops, jump out. Run over here. Okay, we have 1 crate of canola. Building storage, 51 litres canola. How much is that weight? Oh, there we go. So that's 1,000 litres of canola. I was expecting more. Because we've got this set around here. There we go. We've got this set to store it. You can set it to change output mode. You can set it to sell, you can set it to distribute. There is nowhere to distribute oil to. That may change as modders start creating new buildings with new production facilities. I kind of expect the people who did Global Company may start producing all of their old production facilities. K Tigress 2, hello and welcome to the not working day stream. It's not a holiday stream, it's a not working day stream. Long time no see. Our Thanksgiving was relatively okay. So as he explained, Mrs. Osa was in hospital for surgery 3 weeks ago now. So she's not really been too active since she got out last week on Friday. And if you've been into hospital for a stay, you get out, and especially if you've had surgery, you're not at your best for a good 2.5 weeks. So at least she's home. That's the good thing. She's home, she's happy that she's home, she's miserable that she's just in pain and can't do much. But there's good things and bad things. So I am going to, as I said, finish off the rest of this day on this farm. And next time I start a stream on this farm it will be September, and we'll have to figure out lots of stuff, because frankly I have no clue what we're planning next. All I know is that now that we've got all of our fields harvested, well, 2 of our fields harvested, and all of our fields prepared, the field over by the oil factory is going to be converted into an olive grove, basically when we're allowed to do that, so that'll be March, so that's not happening. I will probably plant the rest of these fields with canola, and if I decide not to plant canola in a field, what I might do is plant oilseed radish until we can plant something else in that field. So that's the general plans for this farm at the moment. We do not have enough money for an olive harvester, but I'm kind of hoping if we plant canola now, we should have canola. We should have canola oil to sell, and that's quite valuable. So hopefully we'll be able to either afford to buy an olive harvester or at least lease one. And what I'm kind of expecting, we can lease one. It's 16,000, 20,000 to lease, maybe 25. If I turn that entire field into olives, I'm assuming I'm going to get more than 10,000 litres out of it. But it'll be first year, so we'll see how much we get out of it. And if needs be, we will make more olive fields, just so that it's functionally worth, or it's financially worth our while having a harvester, or being at least able to lease the harvester, and then the income that we can produce from running the harvester is way more than it's costing. Because obviously part of the issue with renting $500,000, $300,000 equipment is your income from the fields that you're using it on really needs to be able to seriously cover that. So the more fields you have dedicated to that crop, the more worthwhile it is to do it. If you get a small field, you put soybeans on it, not a problem, because you can use that harvester for anything. If you put cotton on it, you have to lease a cotton harvester or buy a $500,000 cotton harvester, and the income from the fields really doesn't cover turning the harvester on. You need big fields for the expensive stuff. But I don't, obviously with things like olives, grapes, we don't know what the economy is like on those. How much do they produce per acre, all the rest of it. No idea what the general rule at the moment is if I plant potatoes on this field, at least in Farm Sim 19, if I plant potatoes on this field, I will make as much money from the potatoes as I would if I planted wheat. It's just worker-wise a lot easier to harvest the wheat because it's a higher or a lower density crop, so I don't have to transport as much, and it's also the working width on a harvester, depending on how big a harvester I buy, is a lot better than the working width of a potato harvester. But they typically make approximately the same amount of money, and I don't think anybody's done the science on that for Farm Sim 22 yet. What am I trying to say? Common theory is that you need to be involved in production chains. Production chains are going to make a difference to your income. But starting out, you want to concentrate. You can't say, oh, I've got a field of wheat, so I'll buy the grain mill. And then I've got a field of canola, so I'll buy the oil production facility. And then I've got some sheep, so I'll buy the fabric production facility. And it's sort of, no, you're buying too many production facilities. Specialize, which is why olives on the field directly in front of us. We're going to be planting canola and sunflowers in all the rest of our fields for now. So we can leverage that that factory to its fullest capabilities. Now we do have, I think, 12,000 litres of wheat. Actually, we might only have harvested 9,000 litres of canola. Someone can probably correct me. Right. Actually, no. I mean, in reality, potatoes are a very lucrative crop. Even if you don't wash them and you don't make them into potato chips or salt them, they are an incredibly lucrative crop. The reason I think is because it takes so much personal investment of time into harvesting them that there's got to be some carrot to make people to want to harvest them. So, on Oakfield Farm, we are planting potatoes, we are planting sugar beets, and we are planting a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, potatoes and sugar beets, we are planting those. And I have noticed that one field of potatoes or one field of sugar beets is providing me with similar income to 2 fields of wheat. Oh crap, he's caught up. Is he caught? He's caught up. Stop, dude. You need to stop. You've driven over a bit that I haven't finished ploughing. Oh crap. Go back to that tractor there. Actually, no, we're good. Oh, okay. That's turning. This is going to be awkward. Well, the rock picker's not full, so that's fine. No, I don't need to lift it. We're probably struggling with the weight. Oh yes, right there. Okay, I need to come down to the other end of the field, and I'm going to stick him there and not turn him on. I just turned my engine on. Okay, there we go. So I need to run down the field. Right there is where we didn't finish. Now eventually we might get to the point where, yeah, I can do a bunch of things. So we can buy more production facilities, but when you're starting off, even with that 1.5 million, you've got a limited budget, so specialise. Another specialisation I would consider is possibly doing cotton fields, smaller fields with grass and growing sheep. Because the cotton and wool can go to the same place and create fabrics. Then you can ship the fabric. It's a multi-tiered chain. So once you've created the fabrics, you can manufacture clothes and increase the value of your crop again. But it's all specialised. You've got basically wool, you've got cotton, and that's what you're concentrating on. And obviously, since you've got wool, food to feed sheep, sheep are easy. Yeah, and I'm not driving straight, so let's turn around and try get that done tidy. And if you want to get into bread, which is easy again, you need stuff that makes flour. And once you've done the flour, you need stuff that makes, stuff that the flour makes the bread. And possibly not go into making cakes yet. However, given, stop that there, back in there, I'm going to start that up on the worker, and I'm going to jump out. But yeah, bread is a two-tier system, or two-tier production. So you're gonna need to buy both the bakery and the flour mill, but you can expand it because then you can get strawberries and honey and do stuff that way. So what are we doing here? We are getting rid of our plough. Still miss bits. Surprise, miss bits, but it's less than it was. So that's good. We now have 3 fields which are good to go. This field is fertilised. I am thinking possibly oilseed radish on these and then canola on these 2. This one, hey, we'll put oilseed radish on it and then cultivate that in and put the olive grove on it in March. That's a plan. I need to go to leased equipment, which is leased, a thing with a key on it. Return the plough. Select. Return. Bye-bye. He's gone. So I think, we haven't made any money. We've spent a lot of money. Let's go look at things. We have spent 1.8 million, 1.18 million. We've got 310. We have 0 income. Wages cost us almost 8,000. Leasing was a complete mess up and ended up costing us 12,000. I could have saved a little bit there, but it is what it is. Land purchase, we purchased 500,000 in land. That's a good thing. Construction costs, we've spent 300,000. 150 of that was the house. We built a shed, we built the silo, and we built the factory. And we spent 340,000 on harvesters, 2 tractors, a tipper, and I think that's all we own. That's harvester stuff, header and trailer, tractor, tipper, hang on, oh, weight, that's the weight, front loader arms, the Landini, which we're going to use in the olive groves, the pipe to big long pipe there that loads the thing there, and we've rented the Fiat and the rock picker. So as soon as they're done, we'll get rid of those. Well, we'll empty the rocks and we'll get rid of those. So starting, and I don't know how often I'm going to stream this, so we will see. Obviously we're coming into holiday period, so we've got all the Saturdays I'm going to be doing Oakfield Farm, because that's what I do. The holidays, so Christmas Day, New Year's Day, will also be Oakfield Farm, but I have non-working days on one side of those holidays, and that non-working day I'll probably stream this. I might stream some in the evening, but that really depends on demands by Mrs. Osa's health and various other things. So we are looking good. We have a big pile of rock here that I have to load into that tipper, and we'll do that, as I said, tomorrow. We'll get all that done. Is that drifting? It's probably, you can't see it. You can't climb up. probably get in it and have a look. Oh, that makes things easier. Turn the engine on. I think we go backwards. Oh. We go. No, that is drive. Let's go backwards. So that's how to position that in the right place. Turn the engine off, jump out. So yeah, anyway, and you tip into that tray and it goes all the way up there into the awesome stuff. This is not big enough to haul that. But we are going to have to get a shovel and shovel all the rocks into that. I'll do a demonstration of a feature of Farm Sim 22 when we get around to doing that. But for right now, I think... Hi train. The sun is setting on France. I'll just call this map France. And I need to go and have lunch. So everybody have a good weekend. We will be back tomorrow with some Oakfield Farm Sim 19. But for right now, I'm out of here.